Hello everyone and welcome to the Pop Culture News here on The Experience. We have quite a bit of news, so let's get right into it. Now, a lot has been happening with the new Superman movie from James Gunn. We got our first look at the new logo symbol. It looks a lot like the Kingdom Come logo, but it's yellow where the black is, and it's got a yellow containment line, so that's a little different. We saw, of course, a cast photo from the table read and saw a name change where it dropped the Legacy title. So it's now just Superman. Now, there's some debate if there's ever been a Superman movie before, because all the marketing for the Christopher Reeves movie said Superman the movie, though it wasn't officially named Superman the movie. So there was that debate. But the news didn't stop there, as major outlets are now reporting that actor Wendell Pierce has been added to the cast as the Daily Planet editor-in-chief, Perry White. Now, the character made his debut in the Superman mythos actually during the radio serials back in the 1940s, where a lot of the stuff that we know nowadays for Superman actually got their start, like Kryptonite and Jimmy Olsen. But yeah, he started in the 40s. He's been played by various actors over the years, including Jackie Cooper, Frank Langella, and most recently Lawrence Fishburne. Pierce has appeared in many television series, including The Wire, Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan, and Suits. He joins a cast that's being led, of course, by David Corenswet, Rachel Brosnahan, and Nicholas Hoult. And Superman began filming on February 29th, Leap Day, which is Superman's birthday, by the way, and is expected in theaters July of 2025. I believe it's July 11th. Moving on, when a somewhat popular series gets the axe nowadays, it seems like immediately people start talking about shopping around to a different network. You know, when HBO canceled Our Flags Mean Death, there was immediately a push to get Netflix to pick it up or Prime or something, and it's still going on. Now, that's not the case for a recently canceled series, Evil, which originally started on CBS and then went to Paramount. Now, when Paramount announced that the show would be ending with this fourth season, they ordered an additional 4 episodes, which will allow the series to be kind of wrapped up. The series co-creator, Robert King, told Hollywood Reporter, "We have not had conversations about selling the show elsewhere." King went on to suggest that the additional 4 episodes will be treated like an abbreviated 5th season. He said, "At this point, we're just focused on making the last 5th season as satisfying to the audience and to ourselves and the actors as we can." Now, the other co-creator, Michelle King, she said that part. An interesting side note is that recent rumors that Marvel Studios are planning on bringing back most of the Netflix series. So if Daredevil Born Again works, so that would free up Mike Colter, who's one of the stars of Evil, to return as Luke Cage. This is going to be kind of an in-the-weeds one, but anybody who's a fan of Dune, who have read the books and have watched the more recent series, knows that Dune's having a big weekend. But one of the characters who everybody expected to have a bigger role in the second part didn't show up at all. And that, of course, is Tafur Hawat, the Mentat for House Atreides, played by Stephen McKinley Henderson. Now, he's a big part of the second half of the Frank Herbert novel, but was purposely cut out by the director Denis Villeneuve. According to the director, he said, when you adapt, there's always some kind of violence towards the original material. You have to change things. You have to bend. You have to make painful choices. Now, one of the major choices that Denis made was to focus on the Bene Gesserit, which means letting some of the other subplots go. This included Hawat, whose character in the novel, basically born and raised to be a human computer, survives the attack on House Atreides and ends up being taken in by House Harkonnen and forced to become their new Mentat. It's a tragic storyline about a noble character being forced to serve those that killed his friends and family. Now, House Harkonnen needed a new Mentat after theirs, Peter de Vries, played by David Dastmalchian, was killed during Duke Leto's suicidal attack on the Baron. Villeneuve hopes to go on and make a third Dune film, which will continue to focus on the machinations of the Bene Gesserit, which means that fans of the Mentats will need to turn back to the source material for more on those characters. Moving over to Ted Lasso star June Temple is one of the new additions to the upcoming Venom 3, and while being interviewed at the Screen Actor Guild Awards, she mentioned that the film is wrapping up filming, which is good since it's currently set to be released November of this year. We're coming close to an end at this moment, she said. It's been a wild, wonderful ride. It's so new to me. It's a big set. This is crazy. It's been so much fun. And I got to work with such cool people. I've been so lucky in my career to just have the most incredible casts. I can't wait for it to get out into the world. I think it's going to be a good one. Now, along with Temple, Chiwetel Ejiofor and Clark Bacco are joining the cast, with Tom Hardy returning as Eddie Brock. Hardy co-wrote the story with Kelly Marcel, who Marcel wrote the first two and is actually directing the third one. Temple talked about Hardy and his love of the character as well. She said, his relationship to how he feels about Venom and Eddie together, it's something that feels really close to his heart. It matters to him. I don't know if anyone else could play Venom. That's a tough pair of shoes to follow. The original Venom, of course, made $856 million globally in 2018, and the 2021 sequel Venom Let There Be Carnage brought in $502 million. Sony could definitely use a hit after the poor showing of Madam Web. Speaking of Madam Web, on Saturday Night Live, it was being hosted by Sydney Sweeney, who took a shot at her own work in the opening monologue, telling the audience that they may have seen her in Anyone But You or Euphoria, and that none of them had seen her in Madam Web. It's not often you hear an actor take a shot at their own film, especially while it's still in theaters. Now, she went on to joke that she is best known for screaming, crying, and having sex, and occasionally all at the same time. And while the monologue was filled with a lot of self-deprecating humor and references to her physical attributes, the surprise came at the end with an audience cameo by her Anyone But You co-star Glenn Powell in reference to the rumor that she had been having an affair with him, even though she's currently dating the producer and is engaged to the producer of Anyone But You. So, all right. Moving on to some news from this morning. Fox has made a significant script plus penalty commitment to Baywatch, a reboot of the classic beach series. Co-produced between Fremantle and Fox Entertainment, the new action-packed reboot is written by Laura Olson, who will serve as a showrunner. In it, of course, daring ocean rescues, pristine beaches, and iconic red bathing suits are back, along with a whole new generation of Baywatch lifeguards who navigate complicated, messy personal lives. Yeah, if you watched Baywatch when you were younger, then you know exactly what it's going to be. Okay, Paul Dano, the actor who played the Riddler in the most recent Batman movie, was asked recently about the potential of superhero fatigue, which, and, what's going on with the recent less than stellar box office numbers for films like The Flash, The Marvels, and Madam Web. And it does seem like these people are so focused on the negative narrative that they're trying to sell that they forget that Guardians of the Galaxy 3 came out and did extremely well, but I digress. Anyway, Dano said about it, it's an interesting moment where everybody has to go like, okay, what now? Hopefully from that, somebody either breathes new life into comic book movies or something else blossoms, which is not superheroes. I'm sure there will still be some good ones yet to come, but I think it's kind of a welcome moment. He continued saying, it's a larger thing though. As soon as the word content came into what we do, meaning making movies or TV, it meant quantity over quality, which I think was a big misstep, and I certainly don't need that as a viewer or as an artist. Now, Dano sees the Batman that he was in slightly different because of the writer-director involved. He said there are enough comic book movies where you know what you're going to get, but reading the script for the Batman, you knew it was a real film. Every sentence, that's just Matt Reeves. So I don't know if you should take that as a knock against other movies or if he was just really impressed by the script. Okay, other news that just broke. The second season of Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, wrapped filming in 2023. But it's been unclear when the new series would actually debut. There were rumors that it could end up being pushed back because of the two strikes, the WGA and the SAG-AFTRA strikes, and it might end up getting moved all the way back to 2025. However, The Hollywood Reporter is now reporting, which is what reporters do. It's been confirmed that season 2 will debut sometime in 2024. The release window confirmation was part of a report that also suggests that early work had begun on a third season. Now, as of now, season 3 has not been officially announced by Amazon, but the showrunners for The Rings of Power, Patrick McKay and J.D. Payne, have a brand new 3-year deal with Amazon MGM Studios to develop more content. So, all right, one more news story for you guys. This is for fans of NCIS. And no, this is not talking about the proposed spinoff of a Ziva and Tony series. This is Austin Stoll from the TV series Catch-22 has been cast to play the young Leroy Jethro Gibbs, the part Mark Harmon has made famous, in the new drama series NCIS Origins, which will start back in 91 with Gibbs. It's going to be narrated by Harmon, and it's the years prior to the events of NCIS and chronicles Gibbs' younger years. In the series, Gibbs, played by Stoll, starts his career as a newly minted special agent at the fledgling NIS Camp Pendleton office, where he forges his place on a gritty ragtag team led by NCIS legend Meg Franks. No word on who they're casting as Mike Franks. So it seems that Gibbs will live on even in another actor. Those are going to be huge shoes to fill, though. Mark Harmon made over 400 episodes of NCIS. So it's going to be interesting to see how people take to somebody playing a younger version of it. Okay, guys, that's it. That's the news. And as Dennis Miller used to say, I am out of here. Stay tuned for Minute to Skim It, The Mint Hunter, and Kicking It with Henri. Take care.